Alright, so now that I got the Sorc introduction out the way, this video is just going to be me explaining and showing you how to do the Sorc succession cancels, and then as well as the movements, and then that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna get into this shit. Alright, so first cancel is going to be the Crowflare cancel. It's the Crowflare Eruption. The basic one is essentially you press E, and after you press E, you left click. You want to hold it. What it does is it activates your ultimate eruption as well as your prime eruption is like a separate ability. So that's essentially all you have to do. You pretty much just press E, you hold left click, and it's going to activate ultimate eruption. So that is the short version. The full version is sneaking your beat kick. So what that entails is you press E, you sneak your right kick to flow with Crowflare into beat kick. After that, then you left click for ultimate eruption. So it's going to look something like this. Notice how I did a little kick there, right? This was after the Crowflare, so that's the full version. You can just do the short version if you want, like skip the B kick. It is quicker. But if you want to sneak the B kick, get a little bit of the evasion shred, then there you go. Otherwise, those are your two ways to Crowflare cancel. Next will be the Violation Darkflame. So Violation as the ability, it's WC. This ability has a pop at the end. Notice how it has a build up, pop. Right, that's how it works. It's build up, pop. So there's a way you can activate Darkflame after they pop, right? Because if you activate Darkflame right after Violation, you could cut the pop. So look like this, right? Notice how I cut the pop. So you can wait after the pop and essentially finesse the full version. So it's gonna look like this. Yeah, so after the pop, right? The pop is what gives the Violation the oomph. It's not the build up, it's the pop. So I wanna let it pop and then proceed with Darkflame. That's the Violation to the Darkflame. Next is going to be the Darkflame Backslash. So Darkflame, right? If you hold it, it has this jump where you fucking just land in the ground, right? Notice how I do that? Because there's really 2 to 3 parts to Darkflame. You do it once, it bounces you back. If you hold it down, you go to the ground. If you do the full version, then it does the last part. That's the succession prime. So if you just do it to where you jump up and bounce on the ground, and you hold SC for the backslash, it will actually insta-cast backslash after you pretty much get on the ground with Darkflame. So it's going to look like this. Yeah, so you want to jump up, get down on the ground, and then hold SC. Yeah, so you're essentially holding S the entire time, but that's the cancel right there. Next is the Midnight Stinger into the backslash. So going into Midnight Stinger, you can actually hold the S and C, and it's going to insta-cast the backslash after your Midnight Stinger essentially finishes. So it's going to look like this. Yeah, so that's a little something you could do. I'm going to show it one more time. Yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do. Just hold SC. And next is going to be the Midnight Stinger into the Kick Eruption. So this, you're going to go into Midnight Stinger, which is obviously shift left click. What you're going to do is you're going to hold shift and F after the Midnight Stinger. So notice my key is on the left. That's all you have to do. So after you do Midnight Stinger, you can let go left click. You're holding shift and immediately hold F. It's going to do the kick and it's going to do the eruption. So shift left, holding F, boom. So you're holding shift the entire time. You just switch off from left click to F and it does the kick. Do it one more time. Just like that. Next is the Bloody Dream. This is the forbidden jutsu that not many succession Sorcs know how to do. This is combining Bloody Calamity and Dream of Doom. And so you're going to need Eminent, of course, so you can insta-cast this like fucking insta-ramen. As well as you're going to be using the side cancel, which is another thing to teach you on Bloody Calamity. Is Bloody Calamity, you can activate not just doing the hotbar. In fact, you probably shouldn't. You should just side cancel it. You can iframe to the right, hold shift and space and activate it. Okay, so it's going to look like this. You want to hold it the entire time as you saw me. Now that I'm holding it, I'm going to show you how to do it. When I left click, it's going to throw Calamity, but I want to hold shift. After I left click, I'm going to press E and then left click because it's shift E to throw Dream, so it's going to look like this. Yep. Notice how I do it at the end. Ignore the iframe at the end part, but that's pretty much how you do Bloody Dream. So I'll show you how to do it one more time. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to iframe to the right, shift space, and then it's going to be left click while holding shift, and then it's going to be shift E, left click. Yeah, very quick. You literally throw your two most powerful abilities at once. It becomes a fucking atom bomb. It's a forbidden jutsu that melts shit. It actually is a gimmick that works, but it does have its its repercussions if you miss, because then that's like your most damage just thrown away for free. So double-edged sword. If it's too quick, I mean you can slow down the video, but that's essentially how you pull off the bloody dream. Next is the Frame Backslash. I feel like this is necessary because some people, maybe who are starting out Succession Sorc, don't know this, but you, instead of just activating Backslash normally, it's best that you Frame Backslash. Forward, left, right, back. Right. You want to make sure you wait for the CD up though, because this is what determines it actually, it's the bound. Right there. So once it's off CD, it's not going to do anything besides damage. So you want the CC. So naturally, you're just going to wait for it to be up. Boom, bound. Next is going to be the Frame Eruption. It's where you hold Shift and F. This ability, you never activate raw, like just normally like that. There's a few other ways you can activate it, but the most popular one is the Frame Eruption. So all you do is iframe any direction, and you essentially just hold Shift F. That's as simple as it gets. It's preferable, just because doing it normally is slightly slower, but doing this is just more convenient. Next is going to be the Backslash Abyssal Flame. So what you do is you're going to iframe Backslash, and then you're going to hold left click and right click and just let it go. As you can see my keys, all I did was just hold this, hold left and right click at the same time. So this just, flows nicely. Now, going into the Abyssal Flame. So this ability, right? If you hold the ability all the way, you can let it go and then press it again. Cast it again, essentially, and it does full damage. This is really nice and notable, so you can just sit back and fucking just spam this shit. Only costs mana, and you have mana pots, so it's basically free. That's one way of doing it. The next is the Backslash Abyssal Flame. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna activate Backslash, and before it finishes, you're gonna hold left click and right click like this, and insta-cast it. So this does the full damage, and you avoid having to sit and just full charge it. You can just do this and spam it. Look at my keys. That's all you have to do. It does pull you back, because every time you backslash, you're turning backwards, but it's just iframe to fix that. So yeah, this is how you spam it. The other way you can spam it, and this is stamina heavy, but you can iframe, hold it, iframe, hold it, iframe, hold it. This ability's dumb. They said they nerfed it. In reality, it was a slap on the wrist. This shit does a fuck ton of damage. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. It's really good. You can just get people fucking caught off guard with the shit, because it's pretty decent range actually. See how long it shoots. Yeah, I'm testing the distance as we speak. Yeah, this thing reaches far. Succession Sorc can have the long range. No one else can tell you otherwise. This is just absurd. But yeah, that's what you can do with the Abyssal Flame. Next is going to be the Rushing Crow into Violation. Now, Rushing Crow being forward right click. So the end part has a chance to do a down attack, but it's unsafe. So you can essentially avoid that last unsafe part and fill it in with Violation. So what you'll do is you'll forward right click, and then you're still holding W, so it's going to be WC. So it's going to look like this. Violation. It's a smooth transition. You avoid the unsafety and replace it with a frontal guard. That's a pretty safe option. A lot of people do this on Succession. Pretty bread and butter. Unless you think you're greedy enough, you can just land the down attack. Otherwise, you can just throw in a Violation. Why not? Frontal, and it does the pop. It's nice. Okay, now next is going to be the Rushing Crow Calamity. This one's hidden tech that actually has a gamble to it. You're gonna forward right click, and you're gonna hold spacebar. Now I don't think you have to hold shift actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again for this. Yeah, you hold space and it instantly activates. So the only downside to this is that Rushing Crow, as I said before, is a down attack, and that down attack is unsafe. So if you make it past that part and you hold spacebar, then it'll immediately go into the essay. So that small hole can sometimes get you fucked, but it pays off. If you get in the back line and you go into a big ass ball, instantly Calamity, and then do the fucking bloody dream, it's a viable thing. So that's another way you can activate Calamity. Instead of having to do the side thing, you can just go straight in and hold it. That's a viable option. Okay, next is going to be the Ignition Beat Kick into Eruption. This is something that most Successions, I guarantee, do not know, simply because it's unpopular, and two, they didn't know it actually flows into this. But after Ignition, your bomb, which is Shift X, you can shift X, right click, and then hold left click. So it's the same gimmick as your Crow Flare B kick, and then a left click, right? This is the ultimate eruption. This time we replaced with Crow Flare, replace it with ignition. So it's gonna look like this. There you go. So it's the same concept. Instead of Crow Flare B kick eruption, it's ignition B kick eruption. You just replace Crow Flare with this. With this is more offensive. Crow Flare is defensive. It's a frontal. It's up every 2 seconds. It doesn't really cost you much, and it debuffs. Ignition is a 2-hitting part where it's boom boom, right? Because you don't want to cut off the second part. You want to wait for the second pop and then do B kick. Ignition does a lot of damage. It's an air attack into a air smash, and outside of that, it's just a viable aggressive play. I'm gonna perform it one more time. There you go. Yeah, so you replace Crow Flare with Ignition, you follow up with the Eruption. So those two things are kind of like the same. You just replace Crow Flare with your Ignition and vice versa. And that's it. You want to make sure you don't B-kick in the middle of your Ignition, and this is what it looks like if you do it too early. Yeah, so you notice it didn't do the second part, just instantly did the B-kick. You want to let the 2 hits go, 1, 2, then B-kick. There's a way you can finesse the timing like this. Yeah, after the second pop, B-kick, eruption. Next is going to be the Engulfing Violation Backslash. This is just something that's not really much of a cancel, but it's just, it flows nicely. Your Engulfing Shadow, Shift Z, you can essentially do that into Violation smoothly. That's just, I don't know, something you could do. It flows nicely, there's no delay. The other thing is Backslash as well. It instacast Backslash, so that's something you could do as well. And then last is going to be the Black Wave into Eruption. This is not really not even a popular pick, not even by me. It's not something you could do, and honestly, in PvP, it's definitely not an option. I mean, you definitely could if it's up. And in PvE, it's also an option if you don't already use it, but you essentially do Black Wave. So yeah, so when you go into the Black Wave, you're gonna do forward F. Yeah, forward F, just like that. Next is just going to be the cancels in terms of movements. So I'm going to demonstrate it, and then I'm going to essentially break it down. This is the one way you can move as Succession Sorc, and probably the only viable way you can move on Succession Sorc, and I'll kind of explain how and why you move this way. So check it out. There you go. So that is the movement. So yeah, it stops there, and the reason it stops there is because you don't have anything else you can use. There are alternatives that they're not safe, and also Engulfing's not going to be up in time. So the way Succession moves, right, and before I get into like how it goes, I'm going to break it down. First one being Russian Crow, into Midnight Stinger, into Darkflame, iframe. So I'm going to show you how this is done. You want your iframe to be on a mouse button already. So what this entails is that your evasion WW under action hotkeys is a mouse button. By doing that, you iframe forward. This is already something you kind of should have. This is like a 101 basic for Sorcs. When you Darkflame, in the middle part, again, you can, before you even hit the ground actually, you just iframe. This makes it to where you go forward again. Go forward again. That's the whole point of this cancel. So that's essentially how you do it. You just mid fucking jump iframe. You mouse button. Jump. Jump. Like this is actually a fucking bunny hop as a Sorc. Yeah, so that's the Darkflame iframe. So it's gonna be Rushing Crow, Midnight Stinger, Darkflame iframe, Engulfing, Midnight Stinger, Darkflame iframe, Rushing Crow. And at that point, that's just it. Like you can't really go consecutively after that. So that's the movement. How Succession Sorc moves is that you have to pace yourself. It's a tempo. You can't non-stop move like an Awakening. You're essentially forced to frontal and stall out your stamina. Stall out your CDs, stall out everything. That's kind of like the gimmick. When you're doing movements such as Rushing Crow, Midnight Stinger, Darkflame iframe, chances are you might Crow Flare. Alright, I'm just gonna sit there, linger it. Alright, now I have stamina, now I have CDs, let's go. Keep going, keep going. After, this part, Rushing Crow, I could just do this. I could just Darkflame for frontal, maybe Violation, do something, and then, oh, my CD's up. Alright, bet, I'm gonna move again. Maybe throw, a fucking Calamity and get some of my movements up because your Rushing Crow, your Dark Flame, as well as your Midnight Stinger, they take up shards. So when you Rushing Crow for Dark Flame, notice how it takes 10. And 5 Midnight Stinger takes 10. Dark Flame takes 10. What that does is that actually sets up your Q buff. So it's gonna go from like what 8 to 13 to 20. I'm gonna fact check myself on that real quick. Let me show you how this looks. So first one's gonna take 10. That's how it took 10. It's at 8. Midnight Stinger is gonna do it again. It resets the timer at max 20 seconds. So it took 10, 14. That's what it was. And then after that, I'm gonna Dark Flame. Resets it again. So now it's at 20. 20 is the max you can get with 20 seconds. So you have Midnight Stinger, Dark Flame. They take up your fuel, which is your shards, and that's super easy to get. Throw Dream, throw Ignition, throw whatever the fuck, like anything you do gives you shards. Outside of that, you just have to make sure you rotate your frontals in between movements. You can't exactly move non-stop, and you just have to accept that. Play a bit slow, play a bit fast. It goes on and off. You're not Awakening where you're non-stop just moving around and you can just do whatever you want. We don't have blocker as blocks, so we kind of just have to use Crow Flare as like our block almost. It's up every 20 seconds. It's always a frontal. Why not, right? So yeah, so that's it. That's it for the succession cancels. Hopefully that was helpful to other people that didn't know some of the cancels, and if not, just a reinforcement of how to do things. Hope you know the cancels, and I'll see you in the next vid. Peace.